Okay, welcome to part 2 of the lesson. We're going to show you how to build some food chains and some food webs here. So food chains, I'm always going to want to start from the left and move across to the right. Okay, and we actually have the food chains for you here. And from this, what we need to do is identify some of the features. So, and I'll just write the letters. So we've picked C just randomly. Okay. So the producer for C would be, if we look at C, well, it's plant, right? As soon as you see plant, we know we're good. They're the ones doing the photosynthesis. So the producer is going to be the plankton. Okay, the primary consumer. So who is it that's eating the plant? Well, that's going to be the tadpoles. See how it's already laid out for you? The top consumer, okay. So that's where this becomes interesting. Who's the top consumer? Well, who's not getting eaten? Who's at the very, very end is where we want to go for the top consumer. So we just
Perch.
the perch, that's right. Okay, the primary carnivore.
So we just have to like put in the correct spot.
Yeah, that's right. So the primary carnivore is the, when we go down here, it's the first organism that's eating a consumer, right? So this is a producer. So tadpoles is our first consumer. So who's eating that first consumer is the beetle.
Oh.
And that would be our primary consumer. And then number of levels, that's just a simple issue of counting, right? We have our first trophic level, second, third, fourth, and fifth. So we have 5 levels here.
Yeah.
And that's all you got to do for food chain. And that's all you got to do for that activity. When we get to number 2, it gets a bit more complicated. We're actually creating a food web because in nature, it's very rare that you, well, I mean, that's probably not how the arrows go.
Can you pause like the video in the background? Properly.
Okay, no problem. So on this one, it's very unlikely that this would be the only stuff in the system or in the cycle, right? You'll have grass and insects and frogs, but you're gonna have more than frogs eating insects. You're gonna have more than just bats eating frogs. So a food chain usually doesn't describe a system very well. And in fact, that's why we used hare link for the example, because in that system is actually the only thing eating the hare is the link, and the only thing that the link eat are hare up in that area. So that's why we use that as an example. It's just like deer wolf. The only thing they eat the deer are the wolves, and the only thing the wolves eat are the deer. So that's why it's a good study. So let's get to a food web where things now become linked, and we're going to do B. So what we always need to start at is at the bottom. Now we'll leave a little bit of space, and we got to find where our plants are. So blackbirds, robins, squirrels, those are all animals. Squirrels are eaten by foxes, those are all animals. Woodlice, beetles, and robins, those are animals. Okay, so squirrels, woodlice, beetles, and blackbirds eat berries. Okay, cool. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by putting berries at the bottom. Okay, and then who's eating the berries? Well, it's going to be the squirrels. Now you notice I have the arrow going up because the berries are feeding their energy to the squirrels. We have woodlice. We have beetles. And I'll just, where else can work with blackbirds? See the blackbirds anywhere else? Okay, so I'll just bring them over the side here. And blackbirds. Okay, so I got that one left. So now let's see what we have here. We have blackbirds, robins, and squirrels that are being eaten by the hawk. So we'll put the hawk up here somewhere. This is on D2L. It already is. Yeah. Oh, sorry, the video? Yeah, we're going to put this video up after. So the hawk is now eating blackbirds, robins, and squirrels. So squirrels are here, blackbirds are here. Now, we don't really know where robins are in it, but we know the wood lice and the beetles are being eaten by the robins. So we can't put the robins down where the blackbirds are because they're actually up here. Robins are eating those, and that's also going to the hawk. And then the squirrels are being eaten by foxes. So we don't know where the foxes are related to the hawk, right? So we're just going to put the foxes up next to the hawk, and they're being fed there. So let's read through the situation, see if we got everything. We have blackbirds, robins, and squirrels are being eaten by the hawk. So if we look at the hawk, I have robins, squirrels, and blackbirds. Cool, 1, 2, 3, they're all being eaten by the hawk. We have squirrels being eaten by foxes, yep. We have wood lice and beetles being eaten by robins, there we go. And then we have squirrels, wood lice, beetles, and blackbirds all eating berries. Okay, awesome. So now what we gotta do is label the trophic levels. So if we just put little dotted lines, you see how I kept everything on the same level because I knew I was going to be doing this. Okay, we're going to call this the first, second, third. Oh, can't see that. I'm off on the side here. Sorry about that. Let me get rid of this. We don't need this anymore. First, second, third, and fourth. Okay, on that side, and on this side, we can call these producers. Okay, what would these be? They'd be the primary consumers.
Or herbivores.
Yep, absolutely, or herbivores. Okay, this level would be secondary, so for that we'll just go like here. Or what else would they be? This is the first level that we have things that are eating other ones, right? So we could also call them carnivores. And then on top here we have our top consumers, who are also carnivores. Now, do we have any omnivores here? Anything that's eating both the berries and another organism? I don't see it.
No.
And then if we look at the hawk, let's take the hawk for example. If we asked you a question, what level is the hawk on? Well, what level would the hawk be on? Well, you do it by just counting, right? It's you start at the bottom, the first, and then you just count up. Now you're going to see something interesting, I hope here. Here we have for 1, 2, 3, 4. So you want to say it's a fourth level, right? But it's also a third level. 1, 2, 3. If I go that way, 1, 2, 3. So especially when you start getting up into these carnivores, you can be on multiple levels. So it's on the third and the fourth level, depending on what meal it's eating. Okay. Now, some of these questions are going to ask you to add in detrivores. Okay. Now, where would we want to put them in? Well, they don't belong on top because they're not actually like, they're only eating these things when they die, so they're not really on the top of the level. And in fact, when like you think of like a mushroom or a worm breaks down the stuff, puts it into the soil, they're actually feeding the plants. So usually we put them somewhere down here, right? So we could put, let's say, worms. Let's put some worms down here, and all you would do is just take an arrow. I don't understand. Where would we place it, at the top and come down, or just on the side? You can also just write in brackets here what dead animals.
Yeah, you tend to not want to cross arrows if you can help it.
Yeah. So
You
even
can't
like this,
always help it.
Yeah, like I could redraw this where the squirrel, if I flip the squirrels and the blackbirds, then I'd have the arrows coming down, but I just kind of got in the situation where I didn't know that crossover was going to happen. So dead organisms, right? And then, so that stuff is kind of coming in here, and then they will go ahead and feed the berries. Now this little arrow you don't really need, but I'm just showing you that it's coming in from everything over here. It's coming in. And the trophic level, they're not really on a trophic level, are they?
Not
Are they
really.
Yeah, they're not really considered to be on a trophic level because they're not really feeding anybody. They're recycling nutrients. They're not actually providing energy to the berries. They're just recycling nutrients, not energy. And these trophic levels have to do with the transfer of energy, where like when a worm eats, let's say a dead squirrel, well, let's say a maggot eats a dead squirrel or something, it's breaking down the nutrients from the squirrel, so like all the different minerals and stuff that are inside it, but it's not actually going to be transferring the energy because the berries aren't actually eating the worms. The berries are just kind of eating the worms' feces, which has all the good minerals and stuff in it.
Yeah,
So,
that's a nutrient cycle, not an energy cycle, and we're
Yeah.
looking at energy right now.
yeah, that's right. We'll get into nutrient cycles later, like next week. But anyway, so in terms of energy, they don't actually factor into the energy, but what they're doing is they're actually in here by, like, they're taking the energy from these and they are consuming these, but they're not actually on the trophic levels. And there you go. So you can exist on multiple trophic levels. You try not to cross the lines, which if I flip these two, it would work.
Sometimes
And-
it's so complicated you can't help it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them are absolutely complicated. Let's I'll just pull up a picture here. Orca food web. Let's see if we can find the good old classic image of the orca food web. Yeah, I like this one. It's a good one. Like here's the food web of an orca, and it's like there's just so many things going on. It's impossible not to have crossing because you have multiple things eating multiple things. And yeah, there you go. But see, it's all based off of just this phytoplankton. This one phytoplankton feeds everything. So if we look at, you have different kinds of whales that are actually in here. Small-toothed whales, that's an orca. But like an orca could be what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or it could be 1, 2, 3, 4 levels up. So, yep. The sperm whale is 1, 2, 3, 4. It only has one way to go up because it only has one food source, which is the squid. 1, 2, 3, 4, same kind of distance, right? So, anyways, it's becomes quite interesting. So, anyways, that's food webs and food chains and how to create your food webs. So, if you have any questions, make sure to ask. Is there anything you want to add before we close the video?
I think that's about it.
Perfect. Okay, everyone. Well, good luck with it. Let us know if you need help, and take care.
Have a great day, guys.